Have you ever wondered how species change over time, and if it is always about survival of the fittest? While both natural selection and genetic drift drive evolution, the core difference lies in their mechanism. Natural selection is adaptive and non-random, favoring traits that improve survival and reproduction. Genetic drift, however, is random chance affecting allele frequencies, especially in small populations. Natural selection occurs when individuals with advantageous traits are more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass those traits to the next generation. This process leads to a population becoming better adapted to its environment over time. It represents a consistent, directional force. For example, consider a population of moths where darker individuals increase in numbers in a sooty forest because light-colored moths are more easily seen by predators. Genetic drift, in contrast, involves random fluctuations in allele frequencies. Imagine a small group of beetles where, purely by chance, more green beetles than brown beetles get stepped on by a passing animal. The next generation of beetles will then have fewer brown alleles, not because the green color was inherently better, but simply due to an accident. This effect is significantly stronger in smaller populations because random events have a much larger impact on the overall gene pool. The key distinction, then, is that natural selection has a kind of purpose or direction, driving adaptation to an environment. Genetic drift, on the other hand, is aimless, acting purely by chance. To help distinguish between these two forces, you can ask yourself a crucial question. Is there an environmental pressure consistently favoring one trait over others? If your answer is yes, then natural selection is likely playing a major role in the observed changes. If, however, changes in trait frequency seem unconnected to any specific survival or reproduction advantage, particularly within a small, isolated group, then genetic drift is a strong candidate for the cause. For instance, the prevalence of a rare, non-beneficial genetic condition in a founder population often points to genetic drift. Understanding the Hardy-Weinberg principle, which describes a non-evolving population, helps us recognize when these fundamental forces are at play. Deviations from the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium indicate that evolutionary change is occurring, often due to either selection or drift. The bottleneck effect, which is a sharp reduction in population size due to environmental events like a natural disaster, is a classic example where genetic drift can drastically alter gene frequencies in a surviving population. Recognizing the distinct roles of natural selection and genetic drift reveals the dual pathways of evolution. It shows how both environmental pressures and sheer chance sculpt the genetic diversity and adaptive landscape of life on Earth, ultimately offering a more complete and nuanced picture of how species evolve over time.